Welcome to The Pitch is Right, the game show where we interview contestants from the 2024 Pitch It competition in a little bit different way by playing some fun and friendly games. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of The Pitch is Right, the game show where we talk to all of the partners, all of the vendors who are participating in the Pitch It 2024 competition. Now, I love this competition because it really does help vendors starting out in this channel to get an idea of what we're all about. Because let's face it, sometimes we can be a little weird. And I love how this competition has grown over the years and the things that we get to do with it. But I also didn't want to do interviews the traditional way. So I came up with this game show idea. Now, hopefully, my contestants today enjoy it as well. I think you'll get a kick out of it. So let's go ahead and get started and introduce our contestants. My first one is Anup. Anup, how are you doing today?
Hey, Eric. Doing great. Glad to have you. Glad to be in all things MSP. Excited to be part of the ConnectWise IT Nation Pitch It. So as you mentioned, my name is Anup Ghosh. I am co-founder and CEO of ThreatMate, a cybersecurity startup.
Awesome. And Scott?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having us. So my name is Scott Green. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Aportio Technologies. My accent is New Zealand, although I've lived in Australia for the last 9 years, so but certainly the Antipodes.
Awesome. And Sudhir?
Hey, Eric, thanks for having us on this Pitch It competition. This is great. And we are really excited to be part of the Pitch It event from ConnectWise. My name is Sudhir Nambiar, and I'm the co-founder of xAmplify, which is a sales and marketing enablement platform specifically built up for the MSPs, SIs, partners in the IT domain. So very excited to share about us and be part of this cohort.
Awesome. And I don't know how I did the job scheduling this, but I ended up not getting competitors on this one, which I think is great. We get to hear from 3 different people who do 3 very different things. So I'm excited to listen to that. Now, our first game is elevator pitch off. Now, this game is basically you're riding in an elevator. You have 60 seconds to tell somebody about your company and pitch them on what you do and hopefully get them to ask more questions. Now, of course, this does require a timer. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Oh, and roll it back that second. I don't want to cheat anybody out of their second. And we did choose a semi-random form of picking who goes first for each of these games. And Anup, you won to get the first place here for the elevator pitch off. So are you ready to do this, sir?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. So you have 60 seconds. I know that's a little bit of a curveball because I told you in the documentation it was a little bit less. But again, like I said, when we were kind of in the green room going through all the logistics, we're throwing curveballs at you so that you're prepared when you're doing the actual pitches for the competition. So good luck with that. Ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
Okay, so ThreatMate is a complete platform for you, our managed service partners, to enable scanning of your clients to find the security exposures that your adversaries can exploit to get onto your client networks. And I think what makes us a little bit different is we will score each of your client networks. It nets out everything, and we examine multiple attack surfaces from the outside to their cloud instance to behind the firewall. It's a one-stop shop for all of your cybersecurity left of boom. Now, I know a lot of folks work in the right of boom, which is finding adversaries on the network. We look at everything left of boom, find the exposures before your adversaries do.
Awesome. And with 3 seconds to spare, you got very close to that 60 seconds.
Yeah, thanks.
Great job, Anup. Okay. Oh, Why did it start on me again? There we go. I didn't want to cheat you there, Scott. Okay, so Scott, you're up next.
Cool.
Give me 60-second pitch on Aportio.
Okay, so I've been working in IT over 30 years, and service desk agents in IT have the toughest gig. They're under the pump, they're dealing with mundane tasks, the best move on, the bad kill brands. We've been solving at Aportio this problem for the last 5 years. We've developed a simple AI plugin for popular IT systems. We read and action emails so that agents don't have to. That means agents spend more time with customers, customers get better service, and owners save time, money, and scale faster. We save 2 to 4 minutes on every email we treat, and we charge on the basis of charging less than 30% of the savings we provide to customers. We serve teams from 10 to thousands. We're fast and flexible. We focus on quick wins.
Awesome, with 1 second to spare. All right, Sudhir, it's your turn. You ready?
Yep.
All right, go.
Yeah, so I have spent around 20 years of my life in the channel, the IT solutions, SI, MSPs, all of these channels. Been very focused on growing my businesses. I have a MSP that I was running. One thing I realized that we were very bad at sales and marketing, which I guess everybody would understand. I mean, be it the vendor, be it the MSP. Unfortunately, over the years, I started realizing the bigger MSPs are better at sales and marketing, but the smaller guys are not. The difference between the two was co-marketing, not really marketing. I'm trying to get marketing, and all I can get is success stories. We thought, okay, let's do something about it. So hence we built this platform for sales and marketing enablement, which is focused on co-marketing. That's how xAmplify is born.
Awesome. And again, right there, you guys all got really close to the time. Perfect. So let's go ahead and get rid of that nasty timer. Okay, so next is probably the most hated game, but also the one that everybody seems to do okay with. I haven't had anybody really fail at this game badly. They may have mentioned 1 or 2 of these words once or twice, but nobody completely tripped over this. So, of course, we are talking about tech taboo. And so what I want you to do with this section of the game is tell me a story. Tell me a little bit more about your product, service, offering, whatever it is. Give me a better idea of the benefits to me as an MSP, or maybe the features. Something maybe around 2 to 5 minutes, but there's no timer on this one, so it doesn't really matter. Whatever you are comfortable with, just avoid these 4 words. All right, so we did in our semi-random form of picking who goes first. Scott, you are the next contestant on Tech Taboo, so you get to go first for this one. Are you ready?
Sure, no problem.
All right, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, so look, the story that I start with is the story of an agent called Joe, and he worked for an MSP I was CEO of 15 years ago, and he ended up going on a conference with us at the end of the year with all the high performers of the business because he sang to customers. And he sang to customers, a particular example, a customer rang really frustrated. They were inconsolable. And he started singing them a lullaby. And the customer kind of stopped and said, well, what are you doing? And he said, look, I was trying to get through to you. I was trying to communicate. I was trying to help you. And you wouldn't let me. So I thought maybe singing to you would help. And the customer settled down and he sorted out the problem for it. But it kind of talks to the challenge of working in an IT service desk. You get lots of things happening, you got lots of people coming at you, and half the time you don't actually have time to deliver good service because you're so under the pump. Now, Joe was pretty unique, but there are lots of Joes out there, and our job is to help help organisations get their service desk agents singing. And the way in which we've done that is we've developed a platform that reads and understands and classifies inbound email, which represents 40 to 60% of all the conversations that come into service desks. We use our AI model. It's a plugin, so it doesn't require you to chuck out your old ticketing system and put in a new one. We layer over the top of the popular ones from ConnectWise and Autotask, ServiceNow, Manage Engine. And what that is pre-trained specifically for MSPs. And it reads and categorizes both user emails and also alerts. And with a high degree of accuracy, it allows us to then not only understand what's happening, but what the sentiment of the conversation is about. And then also start to create actions and automations out the back of it. So, by reading and extracting structure from unstructured conversations, we're able to then start triggering actions and defining actions at a really granular level. So when the customer is inquiring about this topic and they're indicated urgency, we want to assign it to this group, but only in the event that they're not a premium customer, in which we want to assign it to that group. So this is basically all AI driven. And increasingly, we're adding more functionality around generative AI, summarization techniques. But the platform's been running for 5 years now, so it's well proven. We've got customers across the US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. They're paying us money. They're re-signing. So the product actually works. It's not just a kind of drawing on a map. And what we do is really the first critical step of actually solving a problem. And that's to actually understand what the problem is. And once we understand what the problem is, we can trigger a whole heap of other actions on the back of it. So by being a plugin, we're non-disruptive. We can be started quickly so that customers can start getting benefits straight away. They don't have to go on a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month journey of discovery around how AI might help their organization. And all those MSPs that are curled up in the fetal position at the moment, wondering, they're procrastinating. Am I waiting too long? Am I kind of missing the bus here? Hey, you're not missing the bus. But I can tell you that we'll get you up to speed a heck of a lot faster than a lot of strategies. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more of a feel of what we're doing.
Yeah, and I love the idea because let's face it, as technical people, we are not the best communicators sometimes. And we're also not the best at interpreting sentiment. And so by creating a tool that allows you to kind of be that go-between and almost as a filter or a buffer between people who don't talk very well to normal people, it does create a better experience for the end user. And actually, I would think a better experience for the technician as well.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right, because a lot of technicians, they'd love to stay in that service desk area, but they get bored with all the mundane stuff and they want to get out of there. So, we're providing the opportunity for people that provide great customer service to actually enjoy being in that space rather than getting dragged out of it just because of the frustration. So, and we're in the process, we're actually saving our customers a lot of money because A, they're reducing staff churn. B, they're actually improving retention rates with their customers and identifying ways of actually bringing customers on faster. So we've got a customer recently that joined us and now we can actually, when they onboard a new customer, they can start turning revenue on another month, 6 weeks earlier than they would have because they don't have to train people. They don't have to configure a whole different range of systems. We can start bringing the conversations in quickly and they can scale. So, that's really the magic of what we're offering.
Awesome. All right. Sudhir, your turn.
So, so I started xAmplify probably around 5 years back, and we've been in the business. We are in almost all the Forrester quadrants and Canalys islands and whatnot. All of these things, we are there. We have been primarily in the market where a lot of vendors use our platform as their partner PRM portal.
Mm-hmm.
the difference between us and most of the other PRM portal, I can go on for that, but more than anything, we are a content creation platform than only content management platform. Most PRMs are a version of a SharePoint with a deal registration form. Now, Eric, if I were to ask you to put yourself as an MSP, and how many vendors do you work with? I mean, how many partner portals do you have to log in to do anything?
I think the average right now is getting kind of high. I think the last time I saw it, it's between 15 and 20.
Exactly. Now, if you were to put a lead or a deal, if you have a sales guy who's trying to register deals across this 15, 20 customers, how do you, as an owner of an MSP or an executive at an MSP, know what's your pipeline?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just no brainer. We started, and when we started working with all these customers and partners, we were seeing something that is very unique. I'm not like it's unique; it is there everywhere. Over the last three years plus, we have spoken to more than 1,200 MSPs, partners, agents. However, you can think of any partner who is, and I'm not going to use the last word, the two-letter word, but anyway, I'm just trying to see, okay, the technology solutions providers or something like that,
Very
right?
good.
And those, so every single one of them have this problem that most of their vendors are not pretty happy about their sales motion and the velocity. Second, they themselves don't know how many deals are there, how many leads are there, how to follow up, because if they tell their sales guy, you go and register in this 15 portals and come and do now again on my portal internal,
Right.
you have 10 different qualifying questions. Everything is crazy. And most of these guys are using some kind of a PSA, either ConnectWise, Halo PSA, Kaseya, whatever they're using it. So that's where we started thinking that, okay, this whole indirect channel needs a little bit more than what we talk. You talk to any vendor, they'll always be making fun of all the MSPs, saying they don't know to sell. But you look at an MSP, what are they going to sell? They have to get more help from the vendors. And if you look at the vendor side, they're using a age old 20, 25-year old content management system with documents where I can put my maximum. The best thing is where I can slap a logo, and then what? How do I market? What is the automation? How do you know whether this campaign, there are some smarter guys who smarter MSPs. And the funny thing is, it's so clear the bigger MSPs do this thing the best. They keep doing co-marketing, and hence they keep growing. The smaller guys are doing their own marketing, and as I said in my earlier statement, that they end up doing success stories. I mean, you have videos after videos of success stories. It doesn't matter which company name. This is all what they do. Every vendor wants that MSP to talk about them, but the MSP cannot. And hence we built our platform, we extended it. Now, using our platform, an MSP can use xAmplify as their own marketing automation platform, sales automation platform, connected to their ConnectWise. We have a ConnectWise integration. We are available on ConnectWise Marketplace as well. It is connected to their PSA, the ConnectWise PSA. Every single time they register a deal in any of the partner portals, which is accessed through us, the deal gets registered in the vendor's CRM as well as in the partner CRM. Partner CRM or the PSA, whatever they have. So we have bidirectional sync always on. So no more of this partner guys coming complaining to the owner and this guy is not responding. How will he respond? Because the sales guy himself doesn't know where all are the leads. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, so so that is what we were focusing on and trying to solve that. So co-marketing and this end-to-end operational connectivity. And we
Yep.
are hoping that this would help MSPs to become better, and try to see if a smaller guy can also grow a little bit more. than only the GSIs and the bigger guys. I mean, which I don't know to say, but they
Yeah.
are the most active guys. I mean, doing these things, and that's where we come into this space.
Yeah, well, you're connecting some very important dots
Yep.
here because you have vendors who are typically more mature, right?
Correct.
They're not like MSPs. They have ROIs and they have goals and they have all these things that they expect out of their marketing.
Right.
Most MSPs can't spell ROI, and I don't mean that badly. I mean, yes, I'm probably going to get trolled for that a little bit, but hey, I was an MSP back when I was an MSP. I couldn't spell ROI either. But it's important to the vendors. And yes, as MSPs, we don't typically sell very well. And therefore, giving us a system to do that now gives us the accountability back to the vendor, which is going to justify the vendor giving us more co-marketing resources. It works out for everybody. So yes, I see the intelligence in doing this.
Right. And also one more thing that we added, which is their part of our platform itself, is the white label services. So for example, there are a lot of vendors who give their products to be white labeled by the MSP, so that the now it's a big debate, or you can have a debate. Why would a MSP want to white label a product? I mean, what's the benefit?
Oh, they want to do it all the time.
Yeah, but one of the reasons that comes out is because they want the company not knowing the customer. They don't want the companies to talk to the customer directly. That's because of the lack of trust. I mean, what's the big harm if I allow that, right? But
Let's be fair. That's Dell's fault.
No, I'm just going to leave again. That's why I said I don't know what should be the main reason, but even white labeling, right? One of the things, feedbacks that we have got, and with working all these vendors and everybody, one of them is like a MSP comes and white labels, and they have 3 customers. That's it. They cannot ever grow the 3 to 10. Because again, they just have a product which doesn't have a name, and they just put their name. But how do you market that thing?
Right.
The vendors are saying, I have all these documents, now you take it. Now the documents to something usable is very tricky, and that's where that's another module that we have, where a vendor can in one click enable the MSP with all the sales, marketing, collaterals, everything, not a platform version of it. So
nice. Very nice.
Thank you,
Sudhir.
Thanks.
All right, Anup, your turn to bring us home on Tech Taboo.
Okay, and I have a short attention span, so I assume other people do too. So I'll try to keep this relatively short. I'm ready to go whenever you are.
I'm ready when you are. So
okay, all right. So I wanted to start out with a little bit of a story. Our company name is ThreatMate, which I think sounds sort of interesting. Are we the mate of the threat, or are we your mate against a threat? We like the ambiguity, right? I will say we take an adversarial view against networks the same as an adversary would, so that we find the exposures that attackers see. So that's sort of our alignment on the threat side. But ThreatMate is an actual chess term. So it's worth Googling. And it turns out ThreatMate is a defensive move. And it's the move you make before your adversary puts you into checkmate. And that goes back to our value prop on left of boom, staying one step ahead of the adversary, right? And I know there's a lot of emphasis on right of boom and finding the adversary on the network and responding. And you should do that. But, as the old phrase goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It is very expensive to respond to an incident for your clients, right? And time consuming. A lot of risk, brand damage, and all of that. So what you want to do as a managed service partner is you want to do the best you can to secure those networks before an adversary gets a chance to get onto those networks and cause damage. And that's how ThreatMate helps you, right? So we find those security exposures before an adversary does. We auto-generate using AI and machine learning simple mission plans that tell you what to do today to reduce the maximum amount of risk. So everything we present you is based on threat intelligence of what's being actively exploited and the exposures we find. We crank that through our algorithm and say, here's the one thing to do today. And by the way, if you execute this mission today, here's how many points it's worth on your security score. So we keep it super simple. We know that you don't have either the people or the time to become cybersecurity experts. So we do that homework for you, and we net it out for you in a security score, one that you can share with your clients and then track over time. Now, if you're curious, what is it we actually do? Yeah, we have automated pen testing as a service, right? That checks a big box with a lot of clients and with cyber insurance. We work with cyber insurance providers. They use our platform to assess, can I underwrite this client? And, Eric, you said, hey, this is about solving business problems. And you're right. At the end of the day, people aren't going to spend money on things like securing networks unless they're solving important business problems. The one that we solve is if your clients need to get cyber insurance, which if they're selling upmarket, they will have to, they will need some form of vulnerability and patch management. What we do, we call continuous exposure management, which is finding those exposures continuously, generating these plans and allowing you to close those, which really satisfies the need for cyber insurance continuously. So that's it in a nutshell.
Well, and I love the point of view that you're doing this from. First, left of boom because it's proactive. And
Yep.
I think, again, perfect analogy. The ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Love that statement. And this almost becomes a selling tool as well as a compliance tool. And yes, because that score can be used against, or in the process of getting cyber insurance, can actually reduce, their policies amount, the amount that they have to pay for those policies and all of those different things. And the other thing that I love, and there's been a couple of competitors going at similar things from a different angle in terms of being proactive. But one of the things I love is a lot of you are linking the likelihood of risk, which is what the client feels and what they're going to base a decision on, with the actual, impact of the risk or of the breach. Mm-hmm. And you're building a tool or providing a service that marries those things two together so that you can have a conversation with the client that actually translates well for them.
Right. Yeah.
I think, go ahead.
You said a couple of things. You hit on a couple of things that I wanted to also sort of double click on. One is selling. So many of our partners today use our tool as a prospecting tool. So as they are talking to a prospect, they can, within 5 minutes, generate a report on the external side, what security exposures does that prospect have. And we often find some security exposures, even things like your mail domain is not set up properly with DMARC and SPF, and then explaining why that's important, right?
Yep.
Where we really make money, so to speak, is when we do that integration with the Microsoft tenant. And all of a sudden, we're finding problems that, from a cyber insurance point of view, can lead to a denied claim. Things like a super admin without multi-factor authentication enabled, right? That's an example.
Yep.
The second point you hit on is compliance. And I think this is really important for managed service providers. What you're going to see over the next 2, 3, 5 years is a move towards compliance as a service. Particularly as you start selling upmarket to more mid-sized companies, the value that you're going to bring to them is being able to ensure that they are living within some compliance regime. Even if it's something like NIST cybersecurity framework, you now have a basis on which to have reasonable business conversations about security with NIST CSF, being able to explain this is why we need to do cybersecurity awareness training. This is why we need to do backup and recovery. This is why we need to do managed endpoint detection response. This is why we need to do vulnerability and patch management, because it's part of this framework, which gives you a rational basis on why you're providing those tools and services. So I think it's a big deal. We do provide compliance. We give you the tools to provide compliance as a service to meet that NIST CSF requirement.
Awesome. Really do appreciate that. And by the way, all of you did great. I think this was probably the longest Tech Taboo we've had, but I will say it may well be the best one that we've had as well, because you guys really explained things well. I got a lot out of it, and you used that storytelling practice, which was great.
Awesome. By the way, I said NIST cybersecurity framework.
Oh man, you said cybersecurity multiple times. You got multiple crosses.
But it's
That's
like
okay.
a proper name. Does that work? I don't know.
The nice thing is we're not keeping score.
But if we were, you'd have
we'll
lost.
make it funny in the end, but it'll probably make it more memorable. All right, let's get those words out of there. And then for my favorite part of this game show, pitch it or ditch it. You may have heard this as two truths and a lie, stump the chump, other words like that. But basically, this is where you're going to give me two truths and a lie about your product or your service. Don't do it in that order, though, because that makes it way too easy for me. Okay, mix it up a little bit. And I have to guess then which one is the lie. Now, of course, I want to give you a couple of minutes, Sudhir, because you go first to kind of think about this for a second and collect it. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So just let me know when you think you're ready.
Okay, I am ready.
Okay, so let's go on with our next game, which is pitch it or ditch it. They're going to give me two truths and a lie, and I have to figure out which one is the lie. Now, of course, in our semi-random way of picking who goes first for each of these games, Sudhir, it is your lucky turn.
Thank you, Eric. Finally, I'm being lucky today. So the first thing, there's 3 points, right? So I'm going to say the first one. xAmplify as a platform integrates with all the RMM PSA providers. So if anybody is using, any MSP is using any of the RMMs or the PSAs, we integrate with them so that, when they do a deal registration, they can run their own lead funnels. That's the first part. Second, because our focus is on co-marketing, whenever you use co-marketing collaterals, content, campaigns on the platform, all your vendors, whoever your respective vendors were using, whose content you're using, they will be able to see all the details about your contacts and customers so that they can help you better. So they can help you better with the next campaign, so whatever, right? And the third one is, again, being a co-marketing platform, the amount of time that you need to spend to learn marketing, like a technology guy learning some marketing something, is very, very minimal, because you already have the things done by somebody. You can minor modifications and you will be good to go. So these are 3 different features which you will find it very different. The third one, you'll find it very different than any other marketing platform. And this is not done by somebody else. You are doing it. You have the control. You know everything. So
All right. Okay. So you made it a little tough on me, I think. I'm kind of in between the first two, because in the first one, you said you integrate with all of the PSAs and RMMs. And usually that's it's hard to say all kind of thing. And in the second one, you said that the vendor has access to all of the contacts that do the deal registration. And I'm pretty sure in your tech taboo, you told me you obfuscate that information. So I'm going to go with the second one, that they have visibility into all the contacts.
Yeah, they don't have it. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Right.
Good, because I know that's a big sticking point for a lot of MSPs and deal registration.
No, but then that is what happens today. I mean, if you look at any platform, it is because it is meant, the MSP cannot subscribe to anything. You just have to go through the SSOs and all I mean, the moment you are signing using SSO to any vendor, right there, you should know that, okay, you don't have access. I mean, it's not, these are all technology guys. And that is probably one of the reason, another, again, based on our experience, which it's logical, but it's just with a lot of proof, is a lot of content, a lot of contacts and things like that is there on a vendor platform are generally spam. Why would I put my legit content, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah, you're right. You caught it. But yeah, I thought I would have been doing a better job of co-marketing so they can see it.
Okay, Anup, what are the 2 truths and a lie about ThreatMate?
Okay, hopefully I make this easy. First statement will be ThreatMate detects adversaries on the network. Second statement is ThreatMate helps you find security exposures that adversaries can see. Third statement is ThreatMate scores the network security of all of your clients.
So you made it too easy for me.
Okay. Hey, simple messaging is what it's about.
Yeah. Number one, because obviously you talk a lot about right of boom versus left of boom, and you guys are left of boom, and finding threat actors after they've already gotten in is clearly a right of boom activity. But again, yes, simple messaging, not a bad idea. All right, Scott, your turn.
Okay, so firstly, our platform cleans up email conversations to remove clutter and ticket duplication that minimizes confusion for human agents and for AI. So it keeps it clean and makes sure that what comes out the other end makes sense. The old saying, garbage in, garbage out, is still absolutely true in the world of generative AI. Secondly, it manages, in addition to user emails, we also manage event alerts, and as part of that, deal with floods of ups and downs and correlate those to minimize unnecessary tickets. And we've reduced that volume for some customers by as much as 70%. The third statement is that we solve the problem of keeping customer and provider ticketing systems aligned. So in the world of co-managed IT that a lot of MSPs are working in, they have a ticketing system, their customer or their trading partners have their own ticketing systems, and they've got this absolute nightmare of trying to work out, well, is this one closed in your system? You've given me this number. I don't know that reference. And it's an absolute nightmare that costs those organizations at least 3 FTEs of productivity every month. And we have a really simple solution that lets any system that we integrate with talk to any other system to correlate those conversations.
All right. I am pretty sure that you talked about the first 2, either in your elevator pitch or in the tech taboo. So I don't think it's either one of those, unless there's something that you threw in there specifically to trip me up and I didn't catch it. So I'm going to say that it's number 3.
You'd be wrong because I should have talked about number 3 in my tech taboo, and I didn't. So we actually do that, and it's probably one of the most interesting features that is grabbing attention from customers right at the moment. because the alternatives to solving that problem are really, really gnarly. So that's a true one. The one I kind of extended a little bit around was the flood and event correlation, and I threw in some stats at the end that were might have been a little bit generous, but not too much.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, great. And of course, I love that game because it gives you the chance to stump me and make sure that I was listening while you were doing all of your different pieces to this game. And hopefully I listened well enough. And in at least 2 cases, I did. So thank you guys very much for joining me today. I hope you had fun. And I hope everybody at home gets something out of this and gets to know each one of your companies, because I think each one of you has bring something very unique to the workplace and to this industry, so that you're going to find a match out there. And I hope all of you do very well in the Pitch It competition. I think you all did very well here, and we will see you on the next episode of The Pitch is Right.